What's good, people? Back again, man. Back with another Let's Talk About It subject, man. I know it's been a good minute, but I've been working, as you can see, doing my thing, getting comfortable with this video stuff. But a lot of stuff going on in the news, and it was like, man, you gotta get back to it. So definitely had to hit some topics. Yeah, it's like where to start. First off, I want to say thank everybody for the new subscriptions, the comments, the input, the feedback. I appreciate all of that. It's much needed and well respected on this side of YouTube. So yeah, I'm thankful for that. And, hopefully we can keep going up, man, getting better content and, working on my craft, getting better and better as time goes on, but, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, but let's get to it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was this Diddy trial. I know. In one of my older videos, I did bring it up. I did have a topic on it, spoke on it, and gave my input. Since then, it's been crazy, man. For real, it's like where to start type thing, like from the details of what we hearing and, the people that's being brought up in the whole situation. It's crazy, man. I don't know what you guys, if you are caught up on it, but if you're not, to the people that subscribe to me and don't really, go out there and, in the internet space or whatever, basically Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, Dr. Love, whoever, he was recently, I think it was think it was like a year ago, he got hit with a RICO for trafficking or sex trafficking type of thing. And it came shortly after a video released with Cassie with him putting his hands on her, which was crazy. If you ain't seen it, don't even worry about it, but it's not really worth it. But anyway, yeah, so he's been locked up for a while, and as he sits in jail, more and more people come out to not even his defense, but, against him, saying he did this to me, he did that to me. I'm a victim. He had paid, certain male escorts to travel across state. And that's what they call in the trafficking, paying for them to fly across state lines to perform these acts. And some of the acts are just like crazy. You know what I mean? Like the whole situation. One person, I forgot his name, but his name was like the Punisher or something like that. And he was saying that, for the first year, he didn't even know it was Diddy because he wore like the mask where you can only see the eyes. And, it was like he would do his thing with Cassie, and he sat like I said, in the corner, whatever. He found out eventually. And after he found out, he said like, he was like, not weirded out, but he said he couldn't perform the acts no more. But like, I hate to get into the details of it, but it was like, he wanted the male escorts to finish when and where he wanted them to finish it on Cassie. And it was like, that was crazy. And then it was another thing that was said in court that once the escort did finish, Cassie and Diddy would go to another room, and his leftovers, we'll say, that he left on Cassie, he would want her to take it and rub it on his nipples, which is wild. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I heard that. I was like, man, like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's crazy. But to hear all of that come out, and then like a lot of people were saying too, like his family is in there, his son, his mom, I'm pretty sure they knew to an extent he was a wild boy, but I mean, it's getting wilder and wilder at this point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that ain't even half of it. Rapper 50 Cent, allegedly, a witness was brought up. Another witness this is recent. Her name, she's going by Jane Doe, but everybody's saying they know who she is. and you can do some homework and find out for yourself. But I think legally you have to call her Jane Doe. I don't even know her real name, but if you look it up, you'll find it. But she was in I guess a love triangle with Diddy, and he paid her like 20 grand to start her own business. The apartment that she's living in, he's currently paying the $10,000 a month rent still to this day. And like she felt like she was the side chick, like she was upset that she wasn't put on the front, like as a girlfriend type figure. And I don't know how to feel about that. She said that out her mouth, not word for word in court though. So I don't know why they even had her out, but they read the text messages recently. He had voicemails and talking to her how he enjoyed being around her, and I forgot what he called her. It called her something. It was something crazy. Damn, I forgot what he called her. But yeah, he gave her a nickname. But yeah, she's recently on the stand, and then allegedly, I'm not 100% sure, but Kanye West got named. So yeah, that's wild too. So it's like, and he got named, and well, he didn't specifically get named, but it named details saying like, who else could it be? So the very next day, he shows up to court, and it's all on videos and vlogs and stuff. And everybody like, what are you doing here? But he ain't speak, he ain't say nothing. But he was denied entry into the courtroom. I don't know why. Maybe because of who they were talking about, and maybe he was trying to sway the case, or I don't know. I don't know how all that goes, but all I can say is this whole situation is wild. And if you ain't tuned in, it's basically a soap opera. Like at this point, you never know where it's gonna go next. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just stay tuned with that. I'll do more research on it. This is just me like giving you a quick rundown of the whole topic. But yeah, man, this is a trip. 2025 is crazy. We already halfway in, but it's still wild, man. Like, it's so much to talk about. It's just like where to start. But yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and stop right there with this topic. I didn't want to get too much into it, and we'll come back with the next subject. All right, people. Second topic of the day, man. Just more some worldwide news. I'm going to kind of do 2 in 1 with this because, yeah, like I said, so much to talk about. The second topic is what's been in the news, these ICE protests. It even hit the small area where I'm at. You know, I'm out the way in a small place in VA. So, like, they even having protests here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just been wild. But the big one was in LA, where a lot of people was like vandalizing. Well, let me back it up. The ICE protests stem from deportation of illegal immigrants, and they've been cracking down on it in LA, all over really. But I think LA, you know, they have the most, the highest volume of illegal immigrants there. Don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing. But so, you know, people scared to come to work. People are at work getting snatched and detained. Recently, it happened in Richmond, Virginia, where they locked up a whole bunch of people. I think it was like 75 or something like that. And so, like, back to LA, it's a collective, but they're getting snatched from their families. Parents were scared to go to school to pick their kids up, and was forced to leave their kids, not leave them, but I think they got detained, and their kids was left there at the school, you know, had to find next to kin or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, it's wild to hear stuff like that, especially when you talk about separating families. I mean, yeah, I get it. You know, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have a child go to school one morning, and then, you know, at the end of the school day, mom or dad is gone, and what are they supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, okay, if it's against the law to be here as an illegal immigrant, that's cool and all. I mean, I'm not saying that's cool, but I understand the law, whatever. The law is the law. But in these type of situations, and you know they have kids and stuff, you should at least allow them to have some type of, you know, let me get to them. Let me make sure they're straight. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they here illegally, but I get if they're a hardened criminal. But if it's like a 9 to 5 everyday person and they going and pick their kids up from school, you should at least allow them to do that. Don't just leave them or split them away like that. That's traumatizing to a lot of families, and it's crazy. So yeah, that's been going on for, I say, maybe a little over a month now, probably longer, but it's like catching more eyes now. So people are in a frenzy. They're upset. They're furious. They feel like this isn't right, type of thing. And I can honestly say, yeah, it's not right, but it's not legal either. And I'll also say that from what I've seen as far as the protests in LA is not the way to go about handling anything, as far as like they're burning stuff, vandalizing stuff, breaking into businesses, stopping traffic, throwing rocks through police cars. Them people, like the officers there, they just there to do their job. Y'all blocking everything and shutting the city down, basically, to the point where they called the U.S. Marines. I think it was a few hundred. They brung in to cause to put some order, some structure into the whole situation, which it got to be bad to call the Marines, and I have family that's in the military, and like, yeah, if you call it in the Marines, they don't play around, and that's one thing I've always heard, like Marines are hardcore. So shout out to the U.S. Marines, the armed forces, all the branches of the military. And yeah, so it's just like it's gotten to that extent. I haven't heard anything since they said they were bringing in the Marines, so that's a good thing in my opinion. They, a lot of the vandalism, I hope that it calmed down. I hope that people came to their senses and find a way to peacefully protest. You can protest, but another opinion of mine, I honestly think protesting, it shines a light on it, but when it's the government that made the call, what are you gonna, like, what's gonna happen? I feel like it's like you screaming on deaf ears, you know what I mean? And I hate to say that, but it's really the truth. And this is the world we living in. It's not cool. It's not perfect. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. All people, different races, and go through things similar. Ups and downs in every part of the world. So this is just one of those things, and hopefully it gets resolved sooner than later. Hopefully nobody's hurt, and everybody can just like logically think and try to go about doing this the right way versus putting people in danger. And just like, as far as like the people protesting, hurting innocent people, like people driving by on the interstate and you throwing a brick through their windshield, that's crazy. People driving with their kids, elderly people, people can get hurt from that. I get that you upset, but you got to think, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. That's not cool, in my opinion. And I stand by that. So yeah, I'm on both sides, but I'm on the side of like, is a right way to do it, and throwing things and damaging people's businesses and burning stuff down is not the way. I don't care what the cause was. Even back to the BLM stuff, I felt the same way. I'm like, it's pointless, and you're really destroying your own community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not with it. And I know, some people may say that I'm wrong or, whatever, but you entitled to your opinion, and I am too, But yeah, as far as that, I wanted to like kind of jump. I'm not going to be on this too long either. The conflict between the two people, I don't want to say their names, but the missiles being fired back and forth between these two groups of people, And it's getting scary, man. In my opinion, I look at it online and I see it, and people in the comments, and they think it's a joke. Like everybody's making a joke out of it online, and I know I know you can't take internet seriously. You're not supposed to. If you do, you're just gonna be a fool. You're gonna look like a fool. But to see it is still like, dang, like really, that's what y'all think, and that's what you chose to say when you see something like that. So yeah, I've seen some wild videos of like missiles being launched and actually hitting like right by the people recording, and like apparently they were attacking their nuclear tests or nuclear field building or something with the nuclear thing, and some of them got intercepted. There are videos of some being shot and never hitting, and then there's some that are being shot and some got through and actually landed. And this happened to me out of nowhere. I'm not a big news watch person. I might see something on like my feed or whatever and be like, oh, okay, what's that about? And I'll do my due diligence or whatever. But yeah, this is scary, man, because this could, the last thing I seen actually before I even started this video was the parts of the government is trying to stop or trying to pass a law to stop the United States from joining in. So, I mean, as bad as it is, and as much as people like to play, it could be in your backyard sooner than later. And honestly, I don't want that. Hopefully you don't want that, because it's not a joke. I don't want to be living in a place where, people shooting bombs and missiles and, things like that. Like, nah, that's not it. So hopefully this gets resolved sooner than later. I don't know a lot about it. I just see what I see when I casually scroll or whatever. But yeah, it for real, like look into it, look it up. It's all over. Like this is like the new thing, because the riots is kind of like panning out. So now it's this going on. It's a lot of mess out here in this world, a lot of negativity, a lot of destruction, and a lot of people. I'm more spiritual than anything, but a lot of religious people speaking on like this is in books of theirs, that this is the times or the signs of times to come and stuff like that. And I mean, I get it, because on a bigger scale, if you look at it, like this is like a lot of stuff is going on. It's crazy out here in this world. And then another thing I seen also, I don't know if you guys knew, this just popped in my head, but I think it was like a mile wide volcano underwater is supposed to erupt off the coast of California. A mile wide volcano. And that's crazy. So man, y'all stay prayed up, you stay safe, and yeah, just keep an ear and an eye out for what's going on out here in the world, because you never know, sooner or later it could hit your back door or front door, wherever. So yeah, we're gonna end that with right there, and I'll come back with the final topic. Last topic, man. Yeah, we getting into the sports, kinda, not really. So recently, the past few months, I don't know if you know, I don't even want to call him retired, but Antonio Brown, former NFL wide receiver, was at a boxing event hosted by popular streamer Aiden Ross, and yeah, some things went down. In the video, there's a video of it. He pulled a gun. Well, it started off he was fighting somebody, a couple guys, and then Antonio Brown ended up pulling a gun after they got in a scuffle, and you can hear like shots go off. So he had got detained later in that video, but Aiden Ross, they do a lot of live Twitch streamings. It was an event, so everything was being recorded and they were live or whatever. Antonio Brown ended up coming back. So they was like, what happened? He was like, they let him go. He said he was defending himself. I think the event was in Florida. So I'm thinking, when I seen it, he got off scot-free, was defending himself. Maybe they was trying to rob him or hurt him or whatever, but it went by. It happened in a weird way, if you ask me, because when they ain't, it seemed like they ain't even do an investigation or nothing. But I don't know. But fast forward to now, there's a warrant for his arrest for attempted murder, and he's, I guess, I ain't gonna say fled, but he's traveling to the Middle East. That's where he's located right now. So he's out the country, and there's a warrant for his arrest, like I said, and he's nowhere to be found. So yeah, I'm like, that's crazy. Now to speak on like the athlete Antonio Brown, man, the man was phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like the real deal. He just had a lot of issues with, I don't know, really. I don't want to speak on the man like that, but excuse me. More so, it seems like he had issues with like people with authority or something like that. You know what I mean? So it was just like, he hopped from team to team, and it was nothing but antics behind him. You know what I'm saying? To the point where he's only 36. This is years ago, but to the point where nobody wanted to pick him up because he was like a liability, and so he exited out the NFL. And since he been out the NFL, you would see him doing things here and there, as far as like he was on the It Is What It Is podcast with Cam and Mace when they started their podcast or whatever, and they doing successful. Shout out to them. And then you would just see him on the internet doing different things. He got into it with Coach Prime, and it's just I don't know. But to this situation is what I'm saying. Like, no matter what he was going through or what he was doing, I wasn't expecting to see him do the things that he did in that situation. When I seen the video, like, yeah, you get in a fight, whatever. But to pull a gun and start shooting, okay, I get it. To actually start shooting at the people, that's wild to be at that status and to carry out those situations. Like, where's the security at? You know what I'm saying? But maybe he think he don't need security. Maybe he don't. Clearly, he defended himself, but I don't know the ins and outs of the whole situation, because the way the video starts is they're already fighting. You know what I'm saying? So it's just his word versus their word. But attempted murder, yeah, somebody got hit and didn't, pass or whatever. So it's like, okay, so now what? So here we are with this. And I ain't gonna be on this too long. I just wanted to, talk about it, and because it's just wild for, NFL player to act out like he does. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad because he had he could have been Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? And I know you get gifts and talents and stuff, and everybody don't take them and cherish them and run with them like they should. Some people just get caught up in the limelight. Maybe some people just don't care, but for the people that perfect their craft and work hard at it, they deserve everything that they get. And for him to have those capabilities to do that and to even go higher or be one of the greatest, and to end up in this situation is sad. And, hopefully everything gets worked out. The people involved in this situation, hopefully they're fine, they're recovering. If they were hit or whatever, hopefully everybody's okay. And we'll see how this gets resolved in the future. And I'll get back with you on that once I find out more information. If there's any information, maybe he just comes back and turns himself in. I don't know, but we'll see. But with that being said, man, we're going to end it right there. I'm definitely coming back with more of this type of content. If you look at my YouTube, you see I broke everything up into little sections or whatever, so you can go find what you need, with me in it. So, yeah, man, I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the subscriptions. And, yeah, man, let's just keep going up with this content. And, yeah, I'm here to stay. So, you guys, y'all take care. Stay blessed and stay safe. Peace.